My name's Dave DeBow, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content. Hey, folks, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking with Pam Goodwin, who's zooming in from Dallas, Texas. And Pam is a very, very experienced real estate entrepreneur with over 18 years in commercial real estate. And we're going to be talking about single tenant net lease properties. I think I know what that means, but I'm not absolutely positive. So Pam, welcome to the show. Looking forward to our chat. How are you doing this fine day?
Doing great. Thanks, Dave. Doing well here in Dallas, Texas. And I know 18 years is actually how long I've owned my own commercial real estate company here, but I cannot believe I've been in some format of commercial real estate for 35 years.
You
Started
must
on
have
the
started when
land.
you were two.
Right. And
so,
love it.
so Pam, give us a big picture overview of what does your real estate investing business look like right now as of September 2024?
Well, I had the wonderful experience while working at Brinker International, developing more than 50 chili restaurants from the ground up, and found out that these landlords were making quite a bit profit from a 10-year ground lease. And so 18 years ago, I did start my own business here in Dallas where we actually only work with national tenants. So we will buy land and then, lease it back to Walgreens, Chase, McDonald's, those single tenant net lease deals where the landlord's collecting the rent and the tenant is, paying the rent and paying all those triple nets up front. And we've been, doing that type of investment, for that time frame.
Excellent. So what does the portfolio look like today? How many of these kind of properties do you have?
Well, I've sold all that I had, but we just recently bought one out of state in Birmingham, Alabama, a vacant Regions Bank. And I partnered up with a friend of mine. She is also in commercial real estate, and we bought the vacant bank building. And now we're negotiating with a national tenant to take that just under 4,000 square feet. And it was a great deal. The bank left right outside of a super Walmart. A lot of retailers buy that. So that's we do ground up, and we also I also love helping people find their first deals. And that's always a good example of one. Her and I owned a property before, a vacant building, and we put mattress firm in there, or we buy existing, at a higher cap rate and hold
So,
those
so,
tenants.
so when you were super active in this, were you typically, you talked about buying land and then renting it to a single tenant. Were they building out on your land or were you building out for them? How does that part of the business work? Big broad
So,
strokes.
so combination, one of my other partners, when I left the corporate world, I wanted to start my own business. And if you want to start your own business, my great advice was I teamed up with the landlord. He had 50 years of experience and we were partners for four years. So our first deal was, um, when I left Brinker, I knew a location where they wanted to go and we actually flipped, we had the property under contract and then flipped that land right away. And we made six figures on that, more than I made 1 year working at Brinker. And I was hooked on it. But most of our deals are, so back to your question, the next deal we did was we bought 5 acres and we were actually a preferred developer for Walgreens. So that was a build a suit. And then the other two pad sites, we just did a ground lease with Chase Bank and a ground lease with McDonald's.
Well, I was under the mistaken impression that McDonald's owned all of their land that they built on, but that's not true. They rent as well, they lease as well, correct?
Correct. They do. If they want the location and the landlord will not sell it to them, they're
Mhm.
corporate, they're operated franchise, but they do own more than $40 billion worth of, commercial real estate. They are a real estate company flipping burgers to pay the rent, but they did do a ground lease with us.
Interesting. Okay, very cool. So, with all of the concerns about commercial properties and the uh, concerns about companies going out of business and everybody going home from since the pandemic and working from home and all this kind of stuff, and online retailers like Amazon, has that affected anything in your line of business with these single tenant commercial spaces?
The biggest impact really has been the interest rates.
Yeah.
I would say is the biggest impact. People are not able to eat online.
Yeah.
So, we kind of specialize in the QSR, the restaurants, the
Well, they can order online at will now, for crying out loud. That's for sure. But yeah, people are still going out to eat, and so restaurants are a big part. They're a big part of
right,
the
they're still
business.
booming. And I guess here in Texas, we don't really have, the ocean. We have the Gulf to go to. But since we don't have ocean, mountains to go to, we shop and we eat out a lot here. And so it's very active. Another property we just recently put under contract is, a lot of good opportunities are working with the cities. The cities own a lot of property and they want restaurants and new users coming to the community.
Mm.
So the same partner that bought the bank, her and I have 6 acres under contract through the city, with our history to try to find some, nice restaurants for that community to come to.
So it sounds like an interesting and an appealing kind of business because off the top of my head, I'm thinking, hey, if if all I have to do is buy the property and I can rent it out to one of these big name national tenants, and they will not only rent from me, but they'll build their own building on top of it, pay me triple net lease for the privilege. That's about as passive as it's going to get, I think. So that sounds very appealing. But on the other hand, it sounds like this might be a very cash intensive business to get going with. So when you're talking with newer real estate investors or people who are interested in getting into this line of investing, do they have to come to the table with access to millions and millions of dollars of cash or credit, or can people get into this business? I wouldn't say with no money down, but without having super deep pockets.
I feel it's one of the best ways to get started in commercial real estate.
Really?
That first deal I did, I know we put that property. I mean, I have put property under contract for $500. Working with the seller. I go after from my Brinker days, learning in these smaller communities. There's some really good opportunities to work with the seller. That first deal I did, when right my first deal I did was putting that land under contract for about $2,500, thinking we had Chili's, and then Chili's had a change when they were opening a bunch and didn't. And we ended up flipping that property to Discount Tires. But I could give lots of examples. I know you like OPM, and I always say, other people's millions,
Uh-huh.
you can use that. But
Well, I'm just thinking for like the newer person because that doesn't have the like you came in with great on the job experience working with Chili's and helping them open up. I mean, the amount that you learned going through that was phenomenal. But for somebody who's kind of new going to this, they might be saying, "Well, that's easy for her. She's got all that experience, but what about poor little me? I'm pretty new to real estate investing. I don't have a clue about how to go about doing this. Obviously, they need to get coaching and training, but the big broad strokes, what should a person be thinking about if they're looking at getting into this line of business?
I would say trying to get the best type of training, or really teaming up with someone. I had the experience but I didn't know how to actually how to make the deal work. And so that's how I teamed up with a landlord that was doing deals.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always looking for bird dogs around the country, people that bring me properties and say, hey, Pam, I drove by this old, Burger King. I think it would, be a perfect Dutch Brothers coffee now.
Mm-hmm.
Reach out to me. I always give, just for finding the deal, I give people equity in the deal, at least a minimum of 25% ownership in the deal for finding it.
Wow. Yeah, that is significant. Well, that is fascinating stuff, and I'm glad to hear that uh, commercial is still alive and well, and it sounds like it's not just Texas; it's all over the place.
It's all over. My motto is everything's for sale. It's just a matter of time and money. And, everybody all day long is buying and selling and buying and selling. I highly recommend, downloading the app LoopNet, and just going on there and for sale, look at what's for sale. I go in a parking lot every single day driving around, and we'll just sit there in the parking lot, put on LoopNet and see what's for sale in the area. In commercial real estate, there's all kinds of great events. We have the international, well, they changed the name ICSC, but that's every year in Las Vegas. If you're interested in real estate, start going to those events. It's overwhelming the first, but it only takes, one or two people, to trust. And just like your show, it's wonderful that you're having podcasts like this that people can learn from, because there's so much valuable content out there. You want to, learn from the right people, but just having your podcast, and I was on your website, and it's just great what you're doing. I recommend people listen to every one of your podcasts and take notes and just start learning from the best people.
Oh, well, thanks very much, Pam. So moving ahead, the next 6 to 12 months, where do you see you and your real estate investing business going?
Well, hopefully, I'm more focused on development. We also do brokerage deal. We sell investment properties, which has
Mhm.
really helped me on the development side because I know exactly what investors are looking for. But we are really focused on more of the redevelopment. The development costs have been so expensive, and it's hard to
Mhm.
really build from the ground up like it used to. So we're looking at those vacant bank buildings. Even if you're in your community, you can see what they're turning into. And we're focused on some of those properties for redevelopment. You can, you know, drive around, and it just takes one or two of those to make a $500,000 on $1 million on one real estate deal by putting that national tenant in there. And so we're really just I'm focused on teaming up with people, helping people get in that first deal, and really on that really redevelopment.
Very good. Awesome, Pam. Well, it sounds like you're up to interesting things. If people want to find out more about you and connect with you, what should they do?
Go to my website at pamgoodwin.com is the best place. And then I also highly recommend following me on LinkedIn. I post pretty much every single day. And if you're looking for your first deal or need help, I would suggest posting it on LinkedIn, doing a video, saying, whatever you're looking for. People on LinkedIn are a wealth of information, and a lot of people, want to help you. People reach out to me on DMing me, and if they want to meet with me, and they're in the Dallas area, I'm happy to meet with them or set up a Zoom call if they're out of the country.
Fantastic. Well, Pam, thanks very much and keep up the good work.
Thank you, Dave. Thanks for having me on your show.
My pleasure. All right, everybody, take care, and we will see you on the next episode. Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewyou.com. Now, at moneypartnerformula.com, we help real estate investors to create a process for predictably getting capital so they can do more deals without relying on hard money lenders or the banks. We do this by building them a private capital marketing system. Now, if you want help turning yourself into a big money capital attraction machine, then book a call with our team to see how we can help. Just visit moneypartnerformula.com to find out more. All right, take care, and we'll see you on the next interview.